back to Live and Breathe Horses, and today we are going on with Triunfo's story. We thought we would update all the horses' stories and what's going on with them. And Triunfo, of course, was not with us when we started the YouTube channel, so maybe he's never had a story. We did do some more in-depth stuff about him over on Patreon, but here he is. So this is Triunfo. Triunfo is our oldest horse at the moment. He's going to be 30 in the spring. So it's like a person nearly 90, I guess, something like that. And Triunfo is the best teacher I've ever had of a horse for his very specific things. In fact, I did a whole video about the learnings from Triunfo because his lessons are very effective, especially things like people who are scared of horses taking off with them. Triunfo can give an experience to kind of simulate that in a safe way, to practice, because of course knowing stuff in our head is not doesn't just help on the moment. We have to practice and get the physical reactions, and the muscle memory of stuff really helps a lot. So Triunfo came into our lives about, oh my goodness, 20, if he is going to be nearly 30, so about 18 years ago. And actually it was my partner who decided he wanted a horse, and we bought Triunfo. So it's very rare I've bought any horses, because usually they just show up, or people want to give them, or I don't know. Anyway, Triunfo, not that they just show up trotting in the gate, although that has happened a couple of times. But yes, people want to give horses because they know they'll have a good life. He was trained very, very rough, typical what they call vaquero, sort of like bullfighting style riding. And you can see his poor nose. There's horrible metal nose bands with the teeth in. Triunfo, can we look at your nose? You see these horrible scars on his nose. Oh, and he's actually got a huge amount of scars all over his belly from spurs, which you can't really see now because he's got his winter coat. But so he had a very, very rough start and has zero confidence in people because of that. Not so much from the ground. I always thought they must have had a nice person in the stable looking after the horses, because he's not so spooky like when you're on the ground doing stuff or in the stable. It's more for the riding and the training. He can just get so upset and worried. And he has an amazing capability to just hold it in, just to shut down and just wait and just, he's learned that was the only way. There was no way out of the situation. So he learned to do that. And if he can go, he will go. And I've had some very funny experiences with him of people just thinking about taking off, and off he went. But the reason he's such a good teacher, because if you just breathe and relax, he's there with you. It's quite, well, I was going to say it's quite amazing, but it's not amazing because, of course, that's how it is. I've got another little one coming over here as well to join in. So Triunfo had that horrible start in life. He's not physically the best horse. He's very long in the back. He's got a very narrow chest. He's got his front feet turned in and his back feet turned out, a bit cow-hocked. But he does have quite a spectacular movement. So I'm thinking for that, they love a nice Spanish walk with a high action and piaffe and passage and all that stuff. So he does know all that in a way of extreme fear. It's not like he is educated to know it. He just starts, if you ask any of those things, he just starts doing whatever he can to avoid punishment or pain, I suppose. He was then sold to a German lady who did long distance riding with him. So again, doesn't have the physique for that at all. So that was a whole other very different phase of his life. And we actually got him from that lady because she wanted to start taking the competition more seriously. So she was going to get an Arab and get rid of him. He wasn't fit for purpose anymore. So he then became our school horse. As my partner sort of, I think, rode him once or twice and decided this horse was a bit too much. He, like I said, he was a fantastic school lesson horse in his own way, and for pony club. He did great with the kids. He probably actually does better with kids. And his favourite pony club rider, the lovely little Saoirse, actually came to visit him when he came back into our lives and went out for a ride bareback. And Triunfo was so happy. He just loved that so much. Where is he? I've lost him because I'm surrounded by them all now. Look, we've got all 4 of them here now. Where's Triumph? There he is over there. So he, when I moved from Allora, he went to retire. He was very lame, very sore in his joints, a bit of ring bone, side bone, and any other kind of not so healthy bone thing going on. And there was an older lady who had 2 old horses and one died. So she was looking for another old horse to keep that old horse company. Otherwise you end up in this cycle of always having to get another one so they don't have to live alone. So this seemed like perfect. He was going for to be very well looked after. She had a groom just to look after the 2 horses. So he went to her and I said to her, if you ever can't keep him, you must tell me first. And then that happened when I was in Scotland. Suddenly I got a phone call from her saying she couldn't cope with the horses anymore. She'd broken her pelvis and had a bad fall, not off a horse I don't think, but that she just couldn't cope with the horses anymore, and would I take him back? So luckily I was about to move back to Spain on that point. I was going to Zamora, and there I'd had 4 stables built, which was 3 for my 3 horses and 1 for a tack room. So I ended up having to buy a shipping container to make an extra stable space for Triunfo. He came, and that was 8 years between him going off to retire and coming back to live with us. And the reunion with him and Galileo was so beautiful. There is a video about that as well. But they were so happy to see each other after 8 years. And I was in floods. It was just so emotional and so beautiful. So it was lovely for them to be reunited, and for me to have him back. Although it was an expense I didn't really need or want, because it cost me a lot of money to get him transported, and then I had to buy the shipping container to keep the stuff because he took the spare stable, and then he had blood tests and special farrier visits, and he was very thin when he came back. Yeah, that's why I got the vet, and did blood tests to make sure everything was okay. And she actually said she'd hardly ever seen such a healthy horse, never mind one his age. So that was good to know, because I did think, is he very thin? Is it his age? Or is it that there's been a bit of stuff going on? Or is it because he's ill? So it was good to know it wasn't because he was ill. He did put on a lot of weight, and then he lost weight again when we moved here. So he's looking all right for his age now, I think. But it's such a thing, you know, what do you do with old horses? So when I moved him from Malaga up to Zamora, when I got this call that she couldn't keep him, nearly everybody said to me that I was crazy. Like, why? He's 29 years old. You know, he's had a good life. It's time. You know, he probably won't even manage the journey. He was so thin, and it was like 11, 12-hour journey. And financially, you know, because it is true, he costs me more in a month than me and the other 3 horses, because he has to have a lot of extra special food and stuff. So, you know, but for me, he has worked all his life with people, and he's put up with so much for humans. If I can give him a good retirement, and I would love to be able to do that for many other horses, especially some of these competition ones that never even get out in the field. It would be lovely to just have them have some freedom. And he has got here all the kind of freedom he could ever want. Plenty of space, plenty of grass. He's got his friends. He's got ample food and water. Extra lot. He's got his own private space for at night. The other three are in a communal shelter, and he has his own private space right beside them, so he can rest. And sometimes the big ones bully him a little bit, much to his horror, because he's really a boss horse. But of course, now at his age, so our lovely Triunfo, we do love him very, very much. And I guess some of you watching this will have lovely memories of Triunfo and lessons he's taught you. He's such a special baby. Yeah, I mean, the time will come. It's just knowing that moment when the quality of life, it's such a hard decision and they leave such huge holes. But one day, I guess he will be suffering or in pain or something, and we will have to make that hard decision. But for now, he is the happiest horse on earth in his lovely retirement, and I'm sure he will still get the chance to do some teaching. He is such an amazing way with him, you know, in everything. And I had a friend up recently actually, and he went and gave the kids some pony rides around the land, so that was nice. And I'm sure when Saoirse comes over, he will be delighted to take her out for a ride. I mean, he's still, the guy that brought him in the transport was like, whoa, he's still got a lot of fire for such an old horse. And he does. Sometimes I see him coming in at night and passaging down the field. In general, when the other three are doing crazy things or getting spooked, he just stands and watches and observes them all. So anyway, that is a bit of the story of our lovely Triunfo, our bestest teacher. He's the most stoic, well-balanced, unbelievable horse, despite all that he's been through. And yeah, for that reason, he's such a good teacher. You know, he really shows you exactly where you need to be and how to be calm so that he's okay, and he just responds to that instantly. I mean, all horses do, but somehow Triunfo has a real extra layer of that. I don't know. He's got a squeaky jaw at the moment. Let's just finish with a little close-up of the lovely baby and his funny squeaky jaw. Can we hear your squeaky jaw, Triunfo? Oh, he's got a wound on his leg as well. I'm just noticing. Let's have a look at that. You hear him squeaking away? I actually got the dentist especially for him, and he looked in his mouth and said, what do you expect me to do with this? He hasn't got any teeth. Must eat like a dog. Don't know how he can even eat. He was a right grumpy guy. So he does make a bit of a funny noise, but you're managing to eat fine, aren't you, Trump? Thank you very much for joining us today, me and Trump. A little update on your story. I'm sure I've forgotten loads of stuff, Trump. If only you could talk, that would be good, wouldn't it? Anyway, see you next time.
You were love, you were light, you were true.